was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant. You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Why does welfare exist? I'll tell you why welfare exists. Because it is the best way to destroy the individual and the family, and that's why government loves it. It's because it's the best form of control over you. And how do I know that? Because the government says it themselves. Only when they're talking about animals, though. If you go to the National Park Service website, you can find an article that says, "Keep Wildlife Wild," where in it says, animals that are fed by people become dependent on human food and may lose their natural fear of humans and their ability to forage for natural foods. There is a lot of truth to the saying, a fed animal is a dead animal. In addition to losing their foraging ability, animals that have been fed are less likely to survive other reasons. Animals that have been fed from cars congregate near roadways and are at a high risk of being killed by vehicle collision. In recent years, National Park Service has had to euthanize deer, coyotes, rock squirrels, and other animals at Grand Canyon that had become overtly aggressive towards humans and or become completely dependent on food handouts. So you see, handouts, not having to actually work for your own food or money, produces dependency. And even in animals, the most basic of creatures lose their survival instincts once they become dependent on someone else's handout. And think about this, there's 48 million people on food stamps right now, and in 2012 there were 126 million people that turned out to vote. So that's essentially the government buying off more than a third of the voters.
Well, I think what has happened is the poor have been conditioned to adopt a slave mentality. I don't own myself, I am not free. And it's very sad in a free country that we are even calling ourselves poor. I got caught up in it, and a lot more people are getting caught up in it today because the goodies are getting much broader and much more expensive to the taxpayer.